Joining us now is Joe DiGenova and Victoria Tunsing. They happen to be married, but they are two of the greatest attorneys in the country and friends of mine as well. Joe, it was great to see you in New York last night. You see what they're doing to this guy. No due process, no presumption of innocence. It's guilt by accusation. And I think people, knowing the Democrats, what they do every 2 and 4 years in elections, Republicans are racist, sexist, misogynistic, and on and on and on. And then every Supreme Court nominee gets borked or treated like Clarence Thomas. And now in the case, it's Judge Kavanaugh. It's the same playbook every time.
Yeah, nothing has changed. And I must say, it is amazing to me what this senator from Hawaii has said and done over the last 48 hours. This conduct by this United States senator has been an embarrassment to the institutions.
Oh, you mean that men should shut up and sit down?
Yes, and then her outrageous description as BS, although she didn't use BS, she used the actual words at a gaggle of reporters outside the Senate chamber, describing the way in which the Republican chairman was treating this so-called witness, a witness that no one has ever met, no one has ever seen. No one has ever confirmed her story. No one knows if it's true. No one knows if it happened. No one knows if it's a figment of her imagination from therapy. Without denigrating her one bit, it is not unfair to say that nothing, absolutely nothing that she is alleged to have written on a piece of paper, which no one has ever seen except Dianne Feinstein, no one has ever corroborated a word of something we have never seen. Just think of what we're saying. We've never seen the letter, and it's never been corroborated. This is insanity.
How is it at this late hour, they've had it since July, Victoria, that they haven't...
I'm going to tell you what the procedure is, Sean, because I think your listeners would want to know. I've gone through these on the Hill when I was working for Senator Goldwater, and here's what they're supposed to do. When a sensitive piece of information, such as he beats his wife, things like that, or he's taken dope, even, he sniffs cocaine. When something like that comes up in a confirmation investigation, then that's supposed to go in executive session. That's not supposed to be made public. Then the committee, either the chairman, however they want to work it out, decide how that's going to be investigated. They could use the FBI, but more than likely they'll use their own investigators, because the Democrats have their own investigators and the Republicans have theirs, and they're always former FBI guys, so it's like having the FBI anyway. Then when they come back with the raw data, they don't make any evaluations, these investigators. They get raw data, they interview people, they come back, and the committee decides, again, in executive session, whether the information is credible. If it's credible, they call in the nominee and they say, hey, I think you've got a problem, you may want to withdraw. Or if it's not credible, they go on with the nomination. They have never smeared somebody in public. This is unprecedented.
Well, now that we're hearing that the woman wants to testify, which is what the original position was, and her lawyer had said that she would testify publicly under oath, but we have now heard from the New York Times, the woman who accused Judge Kavanaugh in an apparent bid, I guess, to jumpstart negotiations, has told the Senate Judiciary Committee that she would be prepared to testify next week so long as the senators offer terms that are fair and which ensure her safety.
Which means no cross-examination.
Well, I don't think that's going to be possible. That's not how the system works. And look, I think that I do give credit to Senator Grassley and his team. I think they have rightly bent over backwards to be accommodating to what could be a very sensitive situation for anybody to handle. They've offered that she could testify in private, in public, that they would even go to her wherever she happens to be. And they have, now the bar keeps being raised. I need an FBI investigation first. The FBI doesn't conduct investigations. It's not a federal issue that they're dealing with here, or a federal crime they're dealing with here.
The statute of limitations has long passed. in any event. But the FBI does not do investigations in confirmation hearings as we think of investigations. They collect raw data, and it is a legislative function, so it's up to the committee to decide and to evaluate the information the FBI brings back.
You know, when I look at how this has all been handled, and I think Susan Collins had this right, and I don't often agree with her, Joe, but they had this since July, and then they're saying, no, we've got to hold it back. Why didn't they do anything in July? Why did Dianne Feinstein meet privately with Judge Kavanaugh on numerous occasions and not bring this up? Why didn't she bring it up in the public hearings?
Well, one of the things that comes out of this is a rather fitting end to the career of Dianne Feinstein. Whether she's reelected or not, it won't matter. Her influence in the Senate has been diminished exponentially by the politically corrupt manner in which she has conducted herself in this. She has insulted the chairman, Charles Grassley, who is one of the nicest people you would ever want to meet in your life, an unbelievably good senator, one of the hardest working senators. She has treated him shabbily. She has disrespected the rules and the procedures of the committee. She has lied, in essence, by omission to all the members of the committee, and she has refused to turn over a copy of the letter to Chairman Grassley. I must say, I mean, she and the senator from Hawaii should be censured for what they have done. I really believe that the United States Senate should not tolerate this type of behavior by senators.
One of the other ways that we know this is political is right now we have a high-ranking DNC official, number 2 guy at the DNC, Keith Ellison, who wants to be the Attorney General of Minnesota. He's involved in a case where his girlfriend, and they claim they have tapes and audios, and she released the doctor's report from 2017 that is consistent with her story. But right now, this woman, all these people going after Judge Kavanaugh that from 36 years ago, you don't hear a peep out of them as it relates to emotional and physical abuse of Keith Ellison, the allegation made by the girlfriend. I mean, you know, Kristen Gillibrand out there saying, I think what Republicans are doing is outrageous. They're creating a false choice. They're trying to bully her into testifying. They're not bullying anybody. They're trying to accommodate her in every way imaginable. But you hear all these, I believe her. And I'm thinking, wow. I don't think Dianne Feinstein had a moment of clarity and says, I don't know if this is true or not. I don't have all the information. I wasn't there. And then with the case.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Keith Ellison's girlfriend is going to have to get in line because there's a long double standard line behind Juanita Broderick, Kathleen Willey, Paula Jones. There's a whole bunch of women out there that if you're a Democratic male, none of these rules apply to you. And I fear, all of you mothers out there, fear for your sons if they're not Democrats because this can happen to them.
Well, I mean,
and by the way, isn't it funny that they're having second thoughts about having demanded that Al Franken resign? All of these women's groups are saying, well, you know, maybe we went overboard. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. This is fascinating. Sean, you are absolutely right. It's not a double standard. It's a triple standard, a quadruple standard. They are shameless. They are unembarrassed by their intellectual dishonesty. They care about one thing, power and keeping Kavanaugh off the court. The Republicans better get him on the court, and they better get him on the court fast.
Well, I mean, they'll have an opportunity. Assuming this woman comes in next week, they could have the vote right thereafter. I'd also argue that in the subsequent 36 years that you could talk to other women, 65 of them that knew him at that time and paint a very different picture of this man. You can talk to his high school colleagues or kids he went to school with and fellow students in college and in law school and in the Bush administration and women that have clerked for him over the years. Everybody could do that, but I don't see any outrage from these very same people. But you have Keith Ellison is being accused of domestic, physical, and emotional violence against his old girlfriend, who actually tweeted that the Democratic Party, quote, didn't believe her claims, despite what is out there, including a doctor's report that she had told this doctor about the abuse in 2017. She's not believed. She's not even discussed. Nobody is saying anything against him.
And look at the low standard of the accusation here. She doesn't know when it occurred. She doesn't know where it occurred. She didn't tell anybody else at the time. And the only two witnesses that she has said could verify it have both said it didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, do we have a presumption of innocence or not in this country? And why is it important?
Not for Republicans.
That's sad, but I think you're both right. Joe DiGenova and Victoria Tunsing, thank you both for being with us. We really appreciate it. And